value in 140 characters. I mean, here are some examples of how I've tried to do it, but you really have to break it down to small little bite-sized things. But the big thing is, like, it's just like, guys, if you write an article, what's the most important part? The title. It's the title. Twitter is about tweeting the title to anything with a link. It's about getting that juicy, sexy title. You know, I'm writing a PDF file right now. It's not finished yet, but it's called "Blatantly Unfair Online Branding Secrets for Self-Employed Professionals." Just a juicy, sexy title, and then I can have a link, and I'll bet you anything people will click on it. But it is tricky to get it down that narrow. And you had a question as well.
No, I had a friend who explained it to me this way. He said, "You ever been to a cocktail party and they hand out hors d'oeuvres, and you look at them and you go, wow, I've never seen that before," and you take a bite, and you go, oh, that's pretty good. That's all you're trying to do with Twitter. Just make somebody go, oh, that's pretty interesting. Just a little taste test and tell you a hell of a lot more, and that's what you link them back to.
I love it.
The actual values in where they end up.
So you give them a little taster. Yeah, I mean, it's like you go to Costco and you walk down to the empty aisle and they give you a little piece of food, and it'd be like you eat it. By the way, Costco is a case in point for modern marketing. Sample the goods first. People want to sample your knowledge before they buy. The free line is moving towards the customer. They want to see the goods first, okay? And then they're willing to buy. I know there's more questions, but I'm also tempted to kind of keep powering through this. Believe me, I'm not in a rush, so afterwards we can talk more about stuff. But if you're curious about what to tweet about, I would say there's really 4 reasons. It just is, and again, this is in your handout. But you can tweet about community. That's interacting with your followers. And there's a lot to be said for interacting with your followers. And you can do that with replying to their tweets or retweeting their tweets. I had a tweet once. When you retweet, you see something cool and you send it out to your audience as well. So you're retweeting it. I had earlier on in the year when I had like 2,000 followers, and I tweeted something that was a juicy one, and it got retweeted. It ended up going to 9,000 people. I only had 2,000 followers. I followed the retweets. It was pretty amazing. Business, I don't think there's anything wrong. Case in point, you've seen my examples. You can tweet about business. Tell people what you do. I don't think that's a problem. Just don't make it exclusive. Okay? As well, your wisdom. Those are the insights, the tips, the tricks, the tools, the biggest mistakes your customers are making. The cultural revolution that's taking place in your industry. You know about those changes. Other people don't. And it's interesting to them. You can tweet about that kind of stuff. And finally, life. Sharing a little bit of your life. I mean, I'm going to have a taco. I think that's a little silly. But, actually, I'll give you an example really quickly. I have a bird. I have a little parakeet. I just got her in January. She's a yellow, she's called Fiji. Anyway, but it's true. And she's a totally skittish bird, but she likes the sound of running water. So I was taking a shower. This is like in February or something. And she literally flew into my bath. When I was showering, it scared the daylight, and I was really scared. All of a sudden, my bird. Anyway, I tweeted about it. To this day, it's like 8 months later, people tweet and ask me how Fiji's doing. People care. I mean, it's voyeurism. It is what it is, right? You look at the magazines with all the pictures of celebrities. Why is that? Why do they put those pictures there? Because people look at them. So they want to know. Guys, understand, I can keep you here for 5 days. I get really excited about this stuff. Like, I got a lot of stories. Some corporate success stories. Whole Foods does a great job of interacting with their followers and just creating a dialogue around organic foods. Dell Outlet, look at this. They're following 24 people, but 1 million people are following them. It's because they're blowing out inventory for stupid low prices. Guess what? Inventory is the biggest profit killer for corporate America. Is having too much inventory and inventory turns and everything else. Some of you are, I'm sure, are specialists in that. Dell doesn't have that problem anymore because they blow this stuff out using Twitter. And here at JetBlue, they have people, Marcon grads, who are paid like probably, I don't know, $40,000 a year, which I don't think is really that much, searching on Twitter for people who tweet about Southwest. Pretty cool. And United. And American, particularly the ones that are complaining about those airlines, and then they can jump in and say, oh, we have a flight between there, and here's a link where to get it. I worked with a lady in Concord, and she's a florist, and she built a local community on Twitter, which is not that hard to do. We'll talk about it in a second. And she searches for people who use the word, she's a florist, people who use the word congratulations for a wedding. and she can reply immediately and says, congratulations from us, come on in for a free daisy or something. Some little thing. And people come in and get them, and 8 out of 10 of them buy flowers. And it's a huge part of her business. So just, get creative about what you can do.